Howdy, my name is Palmer Simeon, and our group did the medieval gardens. Introduction, we start off with the introduction of the medieval gardens, and then we move on to part one, which we start off with the introduction and a little bit of history, and then we move on to relationship with surroundings and the spatial organization. Then we move on to the use of landscape elements and symbolism. And wrapping up part one, we head into part two, where we talk about contemporary examples, the actual layout, water, vegetation, and then we end with conclusion. Okay, the medieval period spanned from about 500 to 1500 CE. It was divided into the early, high, and late medieval eras. During this time, Europe faced many invasions and was split into the Western Empire and the Eastern Empire, which was centered in Constantinople. The Catholic Church was very powerful, and the feudal system shaped daily life, with manors being the main center of work and living. Gardens during this time were important for growing food, herbs, and also medicines. The Crusades also brought new plants and ideas from the East, which influenced how medieval gardens developed. Okay, the location. So the cloister gardens at were lo is located in Mont Saint Michel in France, inside the abbey on a rocky island in France. These gardens were made as a quiet place for monks to pray, read, and think. They are surrounded by covered walkways and stone arches, giving a peaceful feeling away from the busy outside world. The gardens also had great views of the bay below and were an important part of daily life for the monks. Okay, the climate. Because of the location, the climate is mild and humid, with cool, damp summers and winters that are not too cold. The surrounding sea brings moisture and softens the temperature change, creating a unique environment for the plants in the gardens. This mild, wet climate helped the monks grow herbs, vegetables, and also flowers. Okay, adding on to the history of the cloister gardens at Mont Saint Michel were designed as an inner sanctuary within the walls of the abbey. Protected from the outside world, they provided a quiet place for monks to find peace and reflect. The gardens had a balanced design with simple plants, symbolizing harmony and calm within the monastery. They were an important part of monastic life, giving the monks a space for meditation and daily routines. Now I'm going to pass it on to Cade Moore.
Hello, my name is Cade Moore. The relationship with surrounding is important to medieval gardens because these surroundings can be enclosed, integrated into larger structures, or there can be a symbolic relationship. Spatial organization. Medieval gardens were almost always enclosed by stone hedges or stone walls and hedges and fences or palisades. This enclosure protected plants from animals, created a microclimate for growing delicate herbs, and symbolized purity and separation from the chaos of daily life. The use of landscape elements. Medieval gardens used walls, paths, water, and organized plant beds to make protected and useful spaces. Their simple layouts with orchards, herbs, and arbors also showed ideas of order and religion. Medieval gardens used symbols like walls, water, and certain plants to show purity, paradise, and spiritual life. Flowers and trees also carried meanings about love, virtue, healing, and wisdom.
The first example that we chose was the High Line, which is located in New York. Some background on the High Line is it was Built in phases between 2006 and 2019, with its first section officially opening in 2009. The High Line is a mile-and-a-half long public park that was built on an abandoned elevated freight railway line. The designers for the High Line were James Corner Field Operations, which is the landscape architect, Diller Scofido, and Renfro, which is the architecture firm, and Piet Odolphe, which was the planting designer. Here I added a video tour, and then I also added two maps which help you visualize different entrances and be able to see where different features are within the High Line. The public and private landscapes. The High Line is similar to monolithic gardens of the medieval period that once was semi-private for reflection and healing. The High Line offers an elevated retreat from the noise of the city, which makes it function as a modern-day sanctuary park that is open to all of the public. The High Line is commonly used as a place of relaxation and peace in a very busy and just loud city of New York. Use of landscape elements. Vegetation on the High Line is carefully curated, mixing native and decorative species to evoke natural meadows. Water features provide a sensory experience and climate relief similar to fountains and wells in monolithic courtyards that offered both beauty and function.
Alrighty, continuing with the use of landscape elements, we had the sun deck on the High Line. It's another great example of the use of landscape elements, and you can really see the elevation from the final design and experience from the beginning. And then for the seasonal trees and other species of vegetation, this was very well designed, from what was an abandoned railway to a beautiful park and attraction. And they used man-made and natural elements to create that. Then right here, the symbolism. We see the High Line embodies renewal and transformation, much as medieval gardens symbolize spiritual rebirth. And this was once an industrial ruin, which was reclaimed as a space of life, reflection, peace, and community connection. You can really see the difference, the crazy transformation from just a abandoned railway to a very scenic, peaceful spot. And then we added some design diagrams. This one right here is really just about the vegetation. Same with this one. And then the last one, you can really see the like it's a bird's eye view of the whole landscape. And then for the conclusion, we see both the High Line and medieval gardens emphasize enclosure, reflection, and connection between human design and nature, showing how showing how ancient design principles continue to shape modern day landscapes. And by transforming an industrial relic into a green sanctuary, the High Line represents the spiritual and functional ideals of medieval gardens, creating a beautiful and peaceful place for the community. More pictures of the High Line. And then last slide is just our references for all the pictures and information we obtained.